little bit of feedback. Technological issues with our Zoom hybrid world. Okay. Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Thursday, January 19th meeting of the Human Services Committee. We'll proceed to item number 2 on the agenda, remarks by the chairs. I just want to welcome everybody to the Human Services Committee and just remind you that this is a meeting to raise concepts. And what we're doing today is not voting in favor or against specific bills or ideas. What we are doing is scheduling a public hearing to hear from the public, to hear from advocates, and that'll inform our ability to move forward. We've got ideas that we're going to be considering from all 4 legislative caucuses. And I think it's continuing with the tradition of this committee to act in a bipartisan manner. I understand that there are some controversial ideas that we're asking folks to consider. And what I would just ask is that all members of the committee move forward the business of this committee so we can schedule a public hearing and move forward so we can hear from the public. With that, I'd like to turn it over to my co-chair, Representative Jillian Gilchrist, for any remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to say hello and happy to see so many people here and second what my good co-chair said.
Thank you, Representative Gilchrist. And now, Representative Case.
Thank you. And it's not that often, but I just wanted to make sure we say happy birthday to Representative Cook.
Representative Cook, we need to get you a birthday cake and a birthday cookie. We will do that. Thank you.
I will get one.
Senator Seminara, do you have any opening remarks?
Good morning, Lisa Seminara. So happy to be here and so happy to be working with this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any opening remarks from the vice chairs? No. Oh. Senator Gaston.
Hello, everybody. It's so good to see all of you here on today, and I'm happy to be in person. And I look forward to the great work that we'll do on this committee. And while we got the party going, why don't we say happy birthday to Representative Cook? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Representative Cook. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
This is highly unusual, but yes, Representative Cook.
Thank you, Senator, for indulging me. And thank you all for that beautiful rendition of happy birthday. I would say this being my 15th year here, this would be the first year that we were able to spend my birthday with each other. So thank you very much.
Representative Dathan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And it's wonderful to see everybody here today in person, and happy birthday to Representative Cook. And I'm looking forward to getting some great work done this session. And thank you so much.
Okay, moving right along to item number 3 on the agenda, concepts to be raised. I'd like to entertain a motion to create a consent calendar. Representative Case. Are there items that you would like to?
Yeah, Representative, as we spoke, we will go through this as a consent calendar, but if you can go through individually. And
that is absolutely right. And I apologize, Representative Case. We did have a conversation about that. All right, so I'll go through the items under item number 3, just very briefly. And if members have questions, certainly we'll be able to, once the motion's been made, go through it. So Actually, what I'll do is I'll go through it one by one. So item number one on the agenda is an act concerning supplemental nutrition assistance. This is a bill that we traditionally consider in the Human Services Committee. There were a couple of different legislative proposals that we've gotten from individual members that we're hoping to wrap into this. There's also a change in eligibility levels that we're monitoring due to the expiration of additional federal assistance pursuant to the expiration of the emergency. Is there a motion to add that to a consent calendar?
Mr. Chair, I like to add that to as a consent.
Motion made by Representative Case, second by Representative Johnson. Moving to item number 2 on, and it will be without objection added to the consent calendar. Item number 2 on the agenda is an act concerning a temporary family assistance. This is again a combination of a couple of different proposals, including one by Representative Johnson to look to examine our TANF program and make adjustments to reflect other states. Is there a motion to add this to raise the bill?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add that number 2 to the consent calendar.
Motion made by Representative Case, second by Representative Dathan. Item number 3, and without objection, it'll be added to the consent calendar. Item number 3, an act increasing the minimum amount of resources the spouse of an institutionalized Medicaid recipient may retain. I think this is a repeat from a previous year. I believe it was introduced by a number of legislators, including by Senator Kevin Kelly. Is there a motion to raise?
So moved to move number 3 to a consent calendar.
Motion made by Representative Case. Is there a second? Second by Representative Dathan, and the item will be added to the consent calendar if there's no objection. Item number 4 on the agenda, an act concerning the Connecticut Home Care Program for the elderly. I think that we're looking to make a number of different changes reflecting some proposals from legislators. Is there a motion to raise that concept?
So move that to the consent calendar,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Motion made by Representative Case, second by Representative Clark. Item number, and will be added to the consent calendar if there's no objection. Item number 5 on the agenda, an act concerning Medicaid payment rates. We have seen a large number of requests from different folks from the Medicaid provider community for rate adjustments. It's our current understanding that for the most part, rates are right now pegged to 2007 Medicare rates that are largely out of date. And it's our hope that we can, working together and collaboratively with a number of stakeholders, make a re-evaluation and potential rebasing of rates this year. This is a vehicle for discussion about that, and which we'll be doing on a bipartisan basis and in conjunction with the Appropriations Committee. I'd like to entertain a motion to raise that. Sorry, yes.
So moved. You can move it to the consent calendar.
Yes, motion by Senator Seminara, seconded by Representative Dathan. Without objection, I'd like to add that to the consent calendar. Item number 6 on the agenda, an act increasing Husky C asset limits. This is again a repeat from a previous year. It's certainly a proposal we've seen from a number of legislators, and it does what it says it will do. Is there a motion to raise that?
Mr. Chair, I move number 6 to the consent calendar.
A motion by Representative Case, second by Representative Cook. Without objection, will be added to the consent calendar. We will be skipping item number 7. Motion number 8, an act concerning nonprofit health and human services providers. This is a bill with a number of requests that we've seen from a consortium of nonprofits in the state to help them accomplish their mission. There are a number of proposals wrapped into here, including regarding the current innovation pilot program that the Office of Policy Management has been working, as well as other proposals to make it easier for our nonprofit providers to serve and operate the social safety net. Is there a motion to raise?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to raise this, please.
Motion by
Motion.
motion by Senator Seminara. Is there a second? A second by Representative Dathan. Without objection, will be added to the consent calendar. We'll skip item number 9 for the moment. and item number 10 for the moment, and item number 11 for the moment. Moving on to item number 12, an act concerning expanded Medicaid coverage to include biomarker testing. This was a proposal that we received from the American Cancer Society to ensure that we have the best standard of care for cancer patients who receive Medicaid coverage. Is there a motion to raise that?
Mr. Chair, I move to consent.
Motion by Senator Seminara, second by Representative Dathan. Without objection, will be added to the consent calendar. Then we will be moving on to item number 4, proposed bills to be drafted as committee bills. I'd like to entertain a motion to draft item number 2, an act concerning resources and support services for persons with intellectual disabilities. Is there a motion to draft? Motion by Representative Dathan, second by Representative Cook. Without objection, it'll be added to the consent calendar. Item number 3 on the agenda, an act concerning conservator compensation by Medicaid applicants and recipients. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over the whole description that we were asked for before. And these are individual proposed bills. Let me just pull them. Okay, so item number 10 is a proposal from the Senate Democratic Caucus, and we are going to be working with them to get more information and to flesh this out. But it is item number 10, Senate Bill number 10. Item number oh no, we skipped over that. I apologize. It's too early on a Thursday morning, I guess. We skipped over that. We'll be returning to that in a moment. But item number 2, which we just voted on, is a House priority, House Bill 5001, and we'll be working with Representative Dathan and other members of the House caucus to flesh that out. And it's I know it's important to the House leadership. Item number 3 is an act concerning conservator compensation by Medicaid applicants and recipients. It was a bill introduced by Senator Kelly to make sure that we can support and we're willing to hear his proposal out. And is there, I'm sorry, do we have a motion on item number 3?
Yes, Mr. Chair, move to consent, please.
Okay, so motion by Senator Seminara to draft. Is there a motion? A motion by a representative, a second by Representative Dathan, and without objection, it'll be added to the consent calendar. All right, so item number 4, an act eliminating income and asset limits for the MedConnect health insurance program for working people with disabilities. This was a bill introduced by Senator Martin Looney. Is there a motion to draft? Motion by Representative Dathan. Is there a second? Second by Representative Johnson. Without objection, it'll be added to the consent calendar. Number 5, an act expanding access to low cost or free transportation for persons with disabilities. This is a proposal introduced by Senator Seminara. Is there a proposal to draft?
Mr. Chair, I move that one to consent, please.
Okay, motion to draft by Representative Case. Is there a second? Yes. Second by Representative Johnson. Without objection, it'll be added to the consent calendar. Okay, moving back. We will hold the consent calendar for the moment. Moving back to item number 7 on the agenda, an act concerning expansion of Husky health benefits to persons ineligible due to immigration status. Certainly entertain a motion to add this to the consent calendar, but if not, motion to raise. Yes, motion by Representative Hughes, second by Representative Gilchrist. Is there discussion?
Representative Master Francesco had a question before this was updated.
Absolutely. We're not adding this to the consent calendar, Representative Master.
It doesn't have to do
Rest
with this. It was
assured.
That
before
was
you were
not my
speaking.
question,
Okay.
Senator.
Yes,
Thank you.
go-
Thank
go-
you.
Go right ahead, Representative Master Francesco.
Was just going a little too fast. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind, can you just state the items that we put on consent prior to moving on to the other ones? I might have missed a couple and it was kind of going fast and a little confusing if that's okay.
Absolutely. And my apologies, Representative Master Francesco. What I would just say is before we vote on the consent calendar, we will ask the LCO to read through them, and then we can have a discussion on the consent calendar. And if there's anything that was added that you don't agree with, but since we, if it's okay, I'd like to
No,
get
yes,
through
that's-
this and then we'll return to that.
That's fine. I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure.
Great,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very much.
Is there discussion on item number 7? That is, yes, Representative Case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is a bill that we had last year that pulled through this committee. That bill with votes on both sides of the aisle, failed this committee. It's a bill first bill I've ever seen fail in a committee. 1010. A different version of that bill came out in the implementer package that we did not hear or talk about, and we saw it at 4:30 in the morning. My concern is here, we have so many things in this state to look at and to go forward. I cannot support this at the time. We have homeless shelters that are full. We have people being evicted. I have people living in cars. And these are all people who are in the workforce, and they are out there doing their best to maintain living here in the state of Connecticut, and has become so expensive. I'm trying just to work with these different populations, serving on boards in the Northwest corner as Rep. Cook does on other boards with the homeless people. We have a cold weather shelter that after this year is no longer funded. And that is filled to capacity in the Northwest corner. And I'm told every cold weather shelter throughout the state is filled to capacity. And for those reasons, this bill did fail last year. I was a little bit disappointed that a different version of this showed up in an implementer package that we did not get to discuss here at Human Services, even though the bill failed coming out of committee. So for that reason, I would be a no.
Thank you, Representative Case. Other discussion from members of the committee? Okay. Representative Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I actually voted no last year on this bill, and I do have to agree with many of what my Northwest Connecticut colleagues said. You know, we do have people that are suffering and struggling and fill in the blank on all of those things. I'm also a person that believes in the process of this building. So I will vote to support listening to the bill, but I cannot say that as we move forward that I will support the bill. But I do think that every voice deserves to be heard, that this is a building for the people, by the people, of the people. And we were elected to listen to all people. So I will vote to support listening to the bill and the proposals, but I don't know what happens moving forward. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that, Representative Cook. Are there other comments or questions or discussion from members of the committee? If not, the clerk will please call the roll.
Representative Gilchrist,
Representative Gilchrist votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser votes yes.
Senator Seminara,
Senator Seminara votes no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes no.
Senator Gaston,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Dathan,
Representative Dathan votes yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Marr votes yes.
Representative Butler, Representative Cook,
Representative votes yes.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Exum, Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
thank you. Representative Fortier,
Representative Fortier votes yes.
Representative Hughes,
Representative Hughes votes yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Kit,
Representative Kit votes yes.
Representative Leeper,
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Representative Santiago,
Representative Santiago votes yes.
Representative Buckby,
Representative Buckby votes no.
Representative Ferraro,
Representative Ferraro votes no.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Representative Pizzuto,
Representative Pizzuto votes no.
Representative Paletta,
Representative Paletta votes no.
The clerk will please announce the tally.
The tally is 14 yeas, 7 nays, and 1 absent.
Okay, moving on, number 9 on the agenda, an act concerning Medicaid coverage for diapers. I'd like to entertain a motion to raise item number 9.
So seconded.
Motion by Representative Gilchrist, second by Representative Hughes. Is there discussion? Actually, before I do that, I should keep with my promise, which is to describe it. It is what it says it is. We are exploring the concept of providing Medicaid coverage for diapers. Representative Case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know the diaper bill in different forms comes up every year. I don't know if I know this is a concept, but we want to look at this. Putting this under insurance, will we defunct the diaper bank? Because every year we put more money into the diaper bank. Are we going to do one? We going to do both? I mean, in yesterday's meeting, it was almost $2 billion worth of cost of bills potentially. But what would we do with this? Would we do both or one?
Thank you, Representative Case. I think if we were able to fund diapers through Medicaid, it would bring in a potential federal match, which would allow state dollars to go further. I will say that there's a possibility and certainly a concept of applying for an 1115 waiver to leverage more federal support or even potentially reduce any state outlays. But certainly, no, we do not support duplication of services. But I think it's a concept and it's something that we're trying to get our heads around. Representative Gilchrist, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, and just real quick on that, if we get rid of the diaper bank, that excludes people who aren't on state benefits who might be in a hardship to go to a diaper bank to get diapers because it's only going to be allowed for those who are on benefits.
Well, I don't think I apologize if I indicated we were going to get rid of the diaper bank. I don't think that's what we were talking about, but I do think that, to the extent that the state is now providing significant support for the diaper bank, I think the question is where can we get the best bang for the buck? And that's a conversation that we're having, not saying one way or the other where we're going to land. But if we can bring in federal funding, that means we can support that many more low-income parents. Representative Gilchrist.
Yeah, I would just say that the diaper bank is a vital resource in the state. And I think if we are able to move this forward and have the public hearing, we will hear from them that they even recognize they are not meeting the full need in the state. And so I think they're open to a measure like this and seeing how we can get the biggest bang for our buck in the state in order to help as many families as possible.
Thank you. Is there Representative Case, are you done? Yeah, Senator Seminara, followed by Representative Master-Francesco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do we have any idea how much money is being spent on the diaper bank currently?
I don't know the answer to that. Is there a member of the committee who does? I don't. We can certainly find out, but I don't know offhand.
Okay, I'm just curious to know, if the services that we provide already are enough services.
I don't believe that they are, but that's my personal opinion, but we can have that conversation with the diaper bank. Again, the other advantage to this is that by getting a federal match, we could potentially provide more services with less exposure to the state. And you get a better bang for the buck if you're bringing in a federal match.
Thank you.
Yes, Senator Moore.
In terms of the diaper bank, they're having run a nonprofit for 14 years. I can tell you that there were never enough diapers. We worked with the diaper bank. We also had to purchase diapers. We did diaper drives all the time. The need is enormous. And as wonderful as the diaper bank is, it does not fulfill that need.
Thank you, Senator. My only expertise in this area is that I changed a couple of diapers this morning, and boy, do you go through a lot of them. Any other comments from members of the committee? Yes, Representative Master-Francesco.
Thank you, Senator. My concern with this bill is cost, as always. And the more services that we provide for Medicaid, in the end, cost the taxpayers more money. There are a lot of family members and parents and moms out there that maybe don't meet the Medicaid limit, right? And they maybe just go over a little bit and they certainly don't qualify. You know, my goal is always to get people independent, to provide jobs for them so they don't have to become dependent on government assistance. I believe the diaper bank right now is working. I'm fine with that program. I believe it was at last year, maybe the year before, we increased Medicaid for doula services, which to me still stuns me to this day that we have to pay for that. So I'm going to be a no on this today, only because I don't think expanding services like that when we already have a program in place is in the right direction or the right path for the residents of the state and the taxpayers. And I do understand that federal funding, there's a match probably with that. And we hear this argument all the time about federal funding and a match, but that federal funding is taxpayer money. So we're still paying for it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Mastro Francesco. And I just want to be clear for members of the committee, all we're doing today is scheduling this for a public hearing. If we find out that the cost of this proposal is not something that you personally support, that is okay. You can vote it no. We can use this to inform the decisions that will be made subsequently by the Appropriations Committee and by this committee. So, we're asking to move this forward. It's a conversation, and there's some good questions about how this would work with a diaper bank. And there's certainly, nobody here should be expected to say that they are supporting any proposal that we're considering today, but this allows us to schedule it for a public hearing and have that conversation. Representative Dathan, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Just wanted to let everyone know that currently the diaper bank receives about $700,000 in state funding. And I know that there are several hundred children that are diaper wearing age that are under Medicaid. And I don't think the 700,000 would cover that. So just wanted to add that in. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Yes, Representative Case.
Representative Case for a second time. I will probably be voting for this to raise it so we can get more information. According to the diaper bank website, they're distributing around 300,000 diapers for about 6,400 families. My concern is that we don't cut off those families who don't have the insurance to go get those diapers that are having difficult times, because there are those situations. It's not just people who are on these benefits that need that. So I just want to hear more information. I think we'll flush it out that way and we can move forward.
Hear you loud and clear, Representative. We'll work with you on that question.
And yes, Matt, I did the same thing you did this morning, so I had to change some diapers too.
Okay. Representative Leeper.
Thank you, Senator. I just, as someone who's not so far removed from the diaper stage of life also, I think the prospect of a federal match so that maybe we can also expand the reach of the diaper bank to more families, especially during these times of heightened inflation, is a really exciting prospect. And I look forward to a public hearing on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Leeper. Any other discussion? If not, the clerk will please call the roll.
Representative Gilchrist,
Representative Gilchrist votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser votes yes.
Senator Seminara,
Senator Seminara votes no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes yes.
Senator Gasson,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Dathan,
Representative Dathan votes yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Marr votes yes.
Representative Butler, Representative Cook,
Representative Cook votes yes.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Fortier,
Representative Fortier votes yes.
Representative Hughes,
Representative Hughes votes yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Kit,
Representative Kit votes yes.
Representative Leeper,
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Representative Santiago,
Representative Santiago votes yes.
Representative Buckby,
Representative Buckby votes yes.
Representative Ferraro,
Representative Ferraro votes yes.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Representative Pizzuto,
Representative Pizzuto votes yes.
Representative Paletta,
Representative Paletta votes yes.
The clerk will please announce the tally.
Tally is 19 yeas, 2 nays, and 1 absent.
Okay, moving on, number 10 on the agenda, an act concerning medical assistance for certain out-of-state residents seeking abortion care and related services in Connecticut. And before I entertain a motion, I will just say that there is a conversation underway right now with the Department of Social Services. This is obviously in response to the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs last summer. And there's a question about the extent to which Connecticut can assist out-of-state residents with certain Hyde and non-Hyde amendment-related abortion care services. And it's our understanding that the department is pursuing a potential Medicaid waiver with regard to Hyde services, and this is a companion bill with regard to non-Hyde services. I expect we'll have a little bit of discussion about this, but before we do so, would love to entertain a motion to raise item number 10 on the agenda. Motion by Representative Gilchrist. Is there a second? A second by Senator Gaston. Is there discussion? Yes, Senator Seminar.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I want to begin by saying that this is not about removing women's reproductive rights in this state. It is codified. And but my concern with putting this forward is that we are spending and not only spending, but I'm not exactly sure why Connecticut residents need to be covering abortion services for people out of state.
Thank you, Senator. Is that, I'm sorry, was that a question or?
No, it's a
It's a statement. Okay.
It's a
Got
statement.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Seminar. Is there other discussion? Yes, Representative Case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And along that line of questioning, so when we talk to DSS on this and you talk about offering the services for people outside of state, is there the possibility and is there the cost that it will come out of, some will come out of DSS through this process, through you, for people who live outside of state to come here to have that procedure?
Well, if DSS applies for a waiver and it's granted for Hyde eligible abortion care services, then that would bring in a federal match. The Hyde Amendment, as you may know, a representative prohibits the use of federal funds for certain other abortion care services. And so this bill would be the companion bill for which there would not be eligible federal reimbursement under current federal law.
You said the words a federal match, so there is Connecticut dollars involved here.
Yes.
So Connecticut taxpayers would be paying for non-Connecticut residents to come here.
Correct.
And for that reason, I would be a no.
Okay.
This does not take the reproductive rights away from the people here in the state of Connecticut. It's bringing other people in, and the constituents here in Connecticut, it'll come out of their pocketbook to pay for it. And I just want a clarification on that.
Thank you, Representative. Yes, Representative Gilchrist.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just think it's important to flag that currently in the state of Connecticut, we are already seeing out-of-state residents coming in and seeking abortion care through our providers. And so the 1115 waiver that DSS is potentially applying for, and this companion bill will actually support the providers who are already caring for out-of-state residents. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Mastro Francesco.
Thank you. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I find this bill quite honestly disturbing. I guess my biggest question is, we don't know the details behind it because the bill has not been drafted yet. But my biggest question is why? Why should the residents of the state of Connecticut pay for a non-resident, maybe somebody coming from Texas or another state? Why should they be responsible to pay for their abortion? And I guess that is a question.
Thank you, Representative, and I will do my best to answer. And I think Representative Gilchrist just touched on the question. It's because, although Connecticut has not significantly changed our laws in response to the Dobbs decision, the impact of it has been nationwide, and we're seeing it from on providers in Connecticut who are seeing an influx of people, of women seeking healthcare from other states where it is now currently unavailable. And so the ripple effects are national, and they're certainly impacting providers in Connecticut. And there's a financial impact on providers when they see a large number of people who are indigent who qualify for Medicaid in other states and who would qualify for Medicaid in Connecticut. One of the things I think we want to be conscious of is right now, without this, people might be eligible for Medicaid if they establish residency here. Are we really encouraging people to move to Connecticut? Maybe that's what we want to do. But I think the intent of this legislation is to make it easier for people to access healthcare without having to move to the state to establish residency for the purpose of becoming eligible for Connecticut financial assistance.
Thank you for
Yes,
that
Representative.
answer. I guess it still doesn't answer my question as to why. We're trying to encourage more people to come to Connecticut to get an abortion, whether we agree with abortion or not is a whole separate issue. This is about the Connecticut residents paying for someone from out of state to have an abortion. I find it disturbing anyway. Thank you for your answer. It certainly doesn't answer my question as to why. We're a sanctuary state for abortion. We're trying to encourage people, hey, come to Connecticut. You can get a free abortion and the taxpayers will pay for it. No worries. That's the way I think of it. So I'll be a no today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Just one small clarification, and I don't mean to belabor this, but I don't think I said that we want to encourage people to come to Connecticut. I think what we're doing is reflecting the fact that people are already here, and we're hearing that from providers. And the question is that a financial burden that we're asking the providers to shoulder? Is there any discussion? If not, the clerk will please call the roll.
Representative Gilchrist,
Representative Gilchrist votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser, yes.
Senator Seminara,
Senator Seminara is no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case is no.
Senator Gasson,
Senator Gaston, yes.
Representative Dathan,
Representative Dathan is a yes.
Senator Mar,
Senator Mar is yes.
Representative Butler, Representative Cook,
Representative Cook is yes to hear the conversation.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey, yes.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum, yes.
Representative Fortier,
Representative Fortier, yes.
Representative Hughes,
Representative Hughes, yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson, yes.
Representative Kit,
Representative Kit votes yes.
Representative Leeper,
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Representative Santiago,
Santiago, yes.
Representative Buckby,
Representative Buckby votes no.
Representative Ferraro,
Representative Ferraro votes no.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Representative Pizzuto,
Representative Pizzuto votes no.
Representative Paletta.
Representative Paletta votes no.
Madam Clerk, will you please announce the tally?
Tally is 14 yeas, 7 nays, and 1 absent.
Okay, and I apologize. I have done bad job as a chair. I think I can announce that the motion passes, and I meant to on the previous motions as well. With that, I'd like to move on to item number 11 on the agenda, an act concerning Medicaid coverage for food as medicine. I believe this is reflects the recommendations of the Food as Medicine Working Group, and for that purpose, I would be happy to recognize Representative Dathan for further comment if there are questions. But before we do that, can we entertain a motion to raise motion by Representative Dathan? Is there a second? Second by Representative Gilchrist. Any discussion? Yes, Representative Case.
Thank you. As our discussions we had yesterday. There was a task force on this and we're still looking forward to see how the task force reported out, because that is a big issue so that we can understand more of what's going on. I know we want to put this out there for a public hearing, but I believe the task force needed to report to us before we started session so that we can better understand whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, instead of moving forward with a concept and a bill without seeing the results. So if you have Representative Dathan.
Yes, thank you, Representative Case. I have to recognize Representative Dathan, but I will certainly do so. Representative Dathan.
Thank you very much. I've been working with Representative Foster, who put forth this initiative last year to Human Services, and we ended up not doing a task force. We did a working group. And as a result of the working group, we heard from various parties, both in-state and out-of-state, that have such policies like this. And there are federal matching funds for programs like this. Really, we wanted to carry on the conversation within the formal committee process so that we were able to get experts come forward to our committee in a public hearing, especially hearing from DSS and other providers and service providers, so that we can see how it'll help folks that are suffering from instances of diabetes or heart diseases, and how this can help them improve their overall health and reduce some of the spend that we have to maintain their medications and other things. We had a very active work group since over the summer. I think we met for the first time in July. And we decided as a work group that we would put forward the same legislation that Representative Foster put in last year, so that we could carry on this conversation within our committee. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Dathan. Senator Seminara.
Mr. Chair, I'm just wondering, can we, I think this is very worthy to hear, but can we move this to a subject matter hearing?
We could have well, actually, I'm not sure if we have a proposed. What's that? Well, thank you, Senator Seminara. I think that's a really good point. What we could do is what we'll do is we'll have another screening meeting and maybe reserve this for a subject matter hearing in the future if that's so. But I think with this time, what I'd like to do, and Representative Dathan, you made the motion. Okay, so I'd like to recognize Representative Dathan.
As the good chairman said, we are going to remove this from the vote for today and go forward with the subject matter public hearing once the second bill comes through our screening process.
So if I understood you correctly, Representative Dathan, you are withdrawing your motion?
I'm withdrawing my motion.
Okay, and Representative Gilchrist?
I withdraw my second.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Gilchrist. All right. So moving on to item number 4 on the agenda, again, proposed bills to be drafted as committee bills. Item number 1, an act modernizing support services for vulnerable populations. As I mentioned at the incorrect time previously, this is a Senate Democratic priority. It's still being fleshed out, but it is a priority for my caucus and certainly something that we want to work with all 4 caucuses on. Is there a motion to draft as committee bill? A motion by Representative Dathan.
Second.
A second by Representative Gilchrist. Is there any discussion? Yes, Representative Case.
I think there's a few questions on here, and I think the concern was with the bill. There's no language behind it. And if there's no language behind it, it should be a concept drawn up that way, but it's actually a bill that we're going to pass out of here, that any language can go into that bill. And I think that's the concern on this side.
I hear that, Representative Case. What I'm hoping to do, and I will be working with my leadership on, is to make sure that language is certainly available for you for a public hearing. What we're doing is scheduling a public hearing on a priority of the Senate leadership, and allowing those ideas to be heard. We're certainly going to have language before the public hearing. This is not something that we're asking you to vote on in support of, but simply giving an opportunity for the Senate Democratic leadership to have their ideas heard.
And in all
That's
due
Representative Case.
respect, thank you, Mr. Chair. I do understand that and I do respect leadership. But when you look at a bill number and there is nothing there, it concerns of what could be put in there. And we're going to go for a public hearing, not knowing what we're going to a public hearing for. We should have bill language with us if it has a bill number assigned to it. And that's why these others that we did on consent, because it allows us to hear the information before we actually draft a bill. This is a bill number with no content. And I think that's the concern over here.
Thank you, Representative. Other discussion? Yes, Representative Mastro Francesco.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to echo my good ranking, my colleagues' sentiments on proposing a bill out of committee to be drafted without any detail or any language in it. Will be prior to this going to a public hearing, will there be language so people know what they're testifying on? Through you?
Yeah, thank you, Representative. And I believe I just answered that with Representative Case, but the answer is yes.
So I'm just curious, and I know the process, this happens often. I guess I would consider this a dummy bill, right? Or just a placeholder because there's no language in it. Can you just kind of give me a little bit more detail about what the thought process is behind this bill and what we can possibly expect to be in there? I'm sure there is some language out there. There has to be. There's a reason for the bill. Would you be able to give me any insight on that?
Representative, I can tell you is that the intent is to modernize support services for vulnerable populations. And what that looks like, I don't know at this point. But certainly that's something that, with all of these bills, frequently we have a sentence from a individual legislator or from an advocacy organization. And then what we do subsequent to this committee taking action, making a decision to move forward, is that, the leadership of the committee has the ability to work with stakeholders and with the Legislative Commissioner's Office to flesh out those ideas. So I don't have any additional information for you at this time, but certainly what we do on this bill, but also on all of the other concepts that you just voted on, is to direct LCO to flesh them out, and that's what we're doing here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I appreciate you giving insight on those other concepts that we put even on consent, because you had the information and you were able to provide that. In this particular case, we have no idea what it's about. So I'm going to be a no on this today. And we'll see what happens when it comes through. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you, Representative Mastros Francesco. Representative Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just a question to maybe further this conversation. And I understand that we do raise concepts, we do raise proposed pieces of legislation, we do fill in the blanks many times. That's why we have public hearings, as I stated earlier. Can you explain why this bill was given a bill number for proposal as opposed to a concept bill? I mean, we hear that there's a conversation about the difference. Can you explain why the Senate may have felt, and maybe you don't know, may have felt that this needed to have a raised bill as opposed to being a concept bill for us to then fill in the blanks on later?
I don't know the answer to that, Representative Cook.
So I think that going forward, that might be a solution to some of the situations that we have here. I mean, I believe that we have the ability to add, change, and move things along as we've done for many, many years. I think that maybe for the concern on maybe both sides of the aisle, I can't speak for everybody else, that maybe making that a concept bill might have been better and more comforting as opposed to making it a piece of set legislation with nothing to be in it. I'll support my leadership in the question, but I do believe that that is part of the concern that we might be able to rectify moving forward, given the fact that this is not the end of our legislative moving of pieces of bills.
I believe this is the first step. Yes, Representative Buckby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a lot of good discussion here, and I think it would make a lot of us more comfortable. I appreciate the good representative from Torrington, my neighbor up north. and the comments here. It's a beautiful city. It really is. It's not the best town in the
The best town
USA.
in the USA.
That's New Milford. We know that. But I just in the thought process and in the thought of bipartisan work on this, the title is great, but that's all we have. Is this something we could table until we have more information about what this intent of this really is? Give us more detail to that. So I'd like to make a motion. I'm not sure if I can, but I'd like to make a motion to table this.
Thank you, Representative. I will say that although Representative Dathan was very gracious in tabling her proposal, I am less so. And so I would ask that because this is a priority for my caucus, that we give them the opportunity to work right now with LCO to get us more information about what it is they're hoping to do. And then we'll I think the best opportunity, I'm hearing questions from both sides of the aisle about what is it that they want to do. And I think that those are all good questions and I appreciate them. What I would suggest is that the best way to feel that out is to hold a hearing, give them an opportunity. And if we don't like their proposal, vote it down. But that's something that we have the ability to do. I'm as interested as all of you. I'm not withholding any proprietary information. I genuinely don't know what they're working on, but I think it's important that we give, just as we just gave the House Democratic Caucus and some of our all of our caucuses the opportunity. We give them the opportunity, on House Bill 5001, that we give Senate Bill 10 a full hearing, and that we do so expeditiously. You could certainly make a motion if you'd like, but I'd like to move this forward if we can. Is that I'm sorry, Representative I'd like to ask the LCO, is a motion to table, is that in order at this time?
The rules of the committee are basically subject to majority vote. So if there's a motion and a second, you could take a roll call vote on that.
Okay. A motion, I'm sorry, and there's a motion on the motion that I had entertained was a motion to draft item number 1 of the agenda as Senate Bill 10. Does the motion to table supersede that motion? Is that something?
No, your motion would go first.
Okay.
So.
All right. So then in that case, I'd like to, if there's no further discussion, I'd like to call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry, Representative Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the second time. I just have a clarification question. We put on consent 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do all of those bills have language in them, or are they just titles? Just for clarification.
I thank you. It's an excellent question, Representative Cook. In some cases, they're just one sentence bills. Yes, Representative Cook, Representative Buckby. You don't look alike.
We don't look at all alike. Couldn't even be a sister. Thank you for the second time, Mr. Chair. No, my concern is I think we had more detail with those that were mentioned earlier. We had more detail of what it was that we're going to be drafting and putting forward. I'd just like more detail before we go to public hearing on it. That's all. I just feel like this is being pushed on us a little bit to run with this bill. I like the title, but that's all I have. I read the cover of the book. I'd like to just get the inside jacket at least before the book is written. You know what I mean? I just want to get a little more detail to it before we put it up for a public hearing. It really could be about just about anything at that point. So I would just like a little more detail in the explanation of what it is, of who put it forward. But if we don't have that, I have a tough time. So I'm going to be a no. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to be a no after the fact as I'm running late for a second meeting, but I do appreciate you giving the time and listening to the conversation. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Buckby. And so far, we've noted that folks don't want to hear the Senate Democratic leadership. And we've also heard that Torrington is better than West Hartford and Middletown. And those are disturbing things to hear in a committee meeting. With that, if there is no further discussion, oh, yes, Representative Mastrofrancesco for the second time. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for clarification, the good representative from the Torrington area made a good point on the other items that we put on consent that were under committee bills. But those items are not, as I just checked, they are not one-line sentences. Many of those items, they refer to a statute, one of the Connecticut statutes that needs to be changed with a little bit more detail on there. So I just wanted to clarify that we are not voting yes to put items on consent with no language. Those other ones do have some language. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Any other discussion? If not, the clerk will please call the roll.
Representative Gilchrist,
Representative Gilchrist votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser votes yes.
Senator Seminara,
Senator Seminara votes no.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes no.
Senator Gasson,
Senator Gasson votes yes.
Representative Dathan,
Representative Dathan votes yes.
Senator Mar,
Senator Mar votes yes.
Representative Butler, Representative Cook,
Representative Cook votes yes.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Fortier,
Representative Fortier votes yes.
Representative Hughes,
Representative Hughes votes yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Kit,
Representative Kit votes yes.
Representative Leeper,
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Representative Santiago,
Santiago votes yes.
Representative Buckby, Representative Ferraro,
Representative Ferraro votes no.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Representative Pizzuto,
Representative Pizzuto votes no.
Representative Coletta,
Representative Paletta votes no.
Thank you. I think at this time, we're actually going to keep the remaining votes open until 2 o'clock. And then the last item on the agenda is simply the consent calendar. And I would ask that before we do so, that the clerk could please read through the items on the consent calendar. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, yes, no, that's right. We should do that. I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you, Representative Cook. I am under caffeinated.
So the items on the consent calendar are as followed. For concepts to be raised, number 1, an act concerning supplemental nutrition assistance. Number 2, an act concerning temporary family assistance. Number 3, an act increasing the minimum amount of resources the spouse of an institutionalized Medicaid recipient may retain. Number 4, an act concerning the Connecticut Home Care Program for the elderly. Number 5, an act concerning Medicaid payment rates. Number 6, an act increasing Husky C asset limits. Number 8, an act concerning nonprofit health and human services providers. And number 12, an act concerning expanding Medicaid coverage to include biomarker testing. And then for proposed bills to be drafted as committee bills, number 2, an act concerning resources and support services for persons with intellectual disability. Number 3, an act concerning conservator compensation by Medicaid applicants and recipients. Number 4, an act eliminating income and asset limits for the MedConnect health insurance program for working persons with disabilities. And number 5, an act expanding access to low cost or free transportation for persons with disabilities.
Actually, at this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent. Well, actually, we have a motion, yes, motion to approve the consent calendar, yes. Motion by Senator Gaston, second by Representative Gilchrist. Any discussion? Okay, if not, the clerk will please call the roll.
Representative Gilchrist,
Representative Gilchrist votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser votes yes.
Senator Seminara,
Senator Seminara votes yes.
Representative Case,
Representative Case votes yes.
Senator Gasson,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Dathan,
Representative Dathan votes yes.
Senator Mar,
Senator Mar votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Cook,
Representative Cook votes yes.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
Representative Fortier,
Representative Fortier votes yes.
Representative Hughes,
Representative Hughes votes yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Kit,
Representative Kit votes yes.
Representative Leeper,
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Representative Santiago,
Santiago votes yes.
Representative Buckby, Representative Ferraro, Representative Mastro Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes yes.
Representative Pizzuto,
Representative Pizzuto votes yes.
Representative Paletta.
Representative Paletta votes yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And just a reminder that we are going to be keeping the votes open until the remaining votes open until 2 o'clock. Item number 5 on the agenda is announcement of time and date of next meeting. The next meeting that we have scheduled is going to be at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, January 31st. It is possible that we will schedule a meeting beforehand, but not likely. So that's the next that's the next meeting we know about. I would also like to make an announcement that on January 30th, there's going to be a Medicaid 101 class with appropriations. A Zoom registration should have been sent to all of you. That will be held from 10 to 11:30. And one last announcement, we did have a request from the clerk to collect contact information from all of you. You should have received contact forms, but if you have not replied with that, please do so with meet with the clerk after we recess this morning. Just helpful to be able to contact members about committee business. And with that, I'd like to recess the meeting of the Human Services Committee.
Hello, Madam Clerk. Hello, Madam Clerk. Hello, Madam Clerk.
Representative Butler, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry about that. We had some tech issues. I am asking for your vote on the motion to draft SB number 10, an act modernizing support services for vulnerable populations.
Representative Butler votes yes.
Thank you so much. And I believe you voted on the other one, so you should be good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So the vote that you have to vote on is the motion to add to concept calendar. And I can repeat the concepts if need be.
Yeah, that's fine. Would you please?
Okay, let me pull that up. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. So the concepts to be raised will be an act concerning supplemental nutrition assistance, an act concerning temporary family assistance, an act increasing the minimum amount of resources the spouse of an institutionalized Medicaid recipient may retain, an act concerning the Connecticut Home Care Program for the elderly, an act concerning Medicaid payment rates, an act increasing Husky C limits, an act concerning nonprofit health and human services, an act concerning expanding Medicaid coverage to include biomarker testing, an act, and then for proposed bills to be drafted as committee bills, it will be an act concerning resources and support services for persons with intellectual disability, an act concerning conservator compensation by Medicaid applicants and recipients, an act eliminating income and asset limits for the MedConnect health insurance program for working persons with disabilities, and act expanding access to low cost or free transportation for persons with disabilities. So how do you vote, Representative?
Representative Ferraro votes yes.
Thank you so much. I think we're all set. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.